Welcome to Two Bitches in a Broom podcast. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode as we are going to have a fun one and dive into Lionsgate and As the Planets Turn. What's in retrograde, what's not in retrograde, what's coming, how it's fucking us all up. and
Essentially.
yeah, essentially. And how to navigate that and in my mind, mitigate some of that sensitivity,
Absolutely.
So, we all don't like, we're not going to look good in orange and we don't have bill money. So let's just get that out the way.
Absolutely.
That's what I
Absolutely.
say all the time. Look, I'm not made for prison life. Okay.
Absolutely. Truest statement ever.
Oh, gosh. So,
So,
uh-huh.
Lionsgate is this phenomenon that occurs every year on August 8th. And it's actually named Lionsgate after the astrology sign Leo. And it's associated with the rising star Sirius. So, to give you some understanding of Lionsgate, go into the energy of Leo, right?
Hmm.
Leos are very vibrant, they're dynamic, very passionate. They're ruled by the sun, right? They're known for their charisma, their magnetic personalities. They're considered born leaders. Think about that.
Hmm.
They thrive in situations where they can take charge. Um, they also love to be the center of focus. They love that.
I was just going to say that it's like the one that walks in the room and everyone gravitates towards
Yeah,
is definitely Leo energy.
yeah. And
Hmm.
the most important aspect in this regards to me is Leos have this sense of originality and flair to them. And I think that that perfectly describes that energy that comes with Lionsgate personally. That's
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
opinion. So anyways, this event brings this huge energy portal, and its alignment with the earth and the sun actually amplify our spiritual energies. It enhances our metaphysical experiences. So this can mean you're going to take a step forward to awaken, or if you are awakened, you can take that leap forward in your metaphysical practice. So
Hmm.
um, I personally love this energy. I look forward to it. I think it's a great, great energy. Eights in general, if you know numerology, eights in general are all about abundance, and that's what this is. What do you want? What do you want to create? What do you want this
Hmm.
next year to be? This is your opportunity in spirituality. Blah, 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 if I can say that word without posting. Um, to really take a leap forward, to bring what do you want to happen in the next year? Do you want to stay right where you're at?
Yeah.
Or do you want to move forward, and how do you want to move forward? And it is in fact about moving forward. There is absolutely no way that if you stay where you're at, you're going to be left behind. That's the easiest way I can say that.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. I like I like this time of year and the Lionsgate time frame or the Lionsgate portal as the it's widely known as. And I like that it for me just I just like the energy how it lines up with coming into fall season and then we're planting those seeds and getting ready to go into that phase. And it is like I'm all about eight as infinity as all of that. That's my jam.
Yeah.
And yeah, it absolutely is, the time that you get to sit and manifest like huge manifestation energy.
Hmm.
It's also a time frame that will, in my experience and what I've seen too, that will bring up some shadow aspects when we're talking about moving forward, right? Because I think
Oh
when we
yeah.
have when we have the intention, like even if it's just it's something that you're thinking about in your mind, and you read something and you're like, oh man, I want to create my dream life. Or right now, a hot topic is uh, timeline jumping and
Oh yeah.
jumping into
Yeah.
like leaping, right? And when you do that with this energy and it's so abundant and so really just strong right now, it's going to bring up some parts of your shadow because you have to make room for this. You have to move some stuff out of the
Exactly.
way. You
Exactly.
can't pull in this, like I can't align in my highest and best most abundant timeline when I'm still holding on to shit from
Yep.
the past. So I feel like this energy is really big too for people to be aware of and make those choices moving
Hmm.
forward when you are co-creating this lionscape energy. And I think of Leo energy as just that bright sun that walks into the space and just draws everybody in. That's my always my go-to.
Yeah.
And the leader part, like not afraid to take chances, not afraid to step outside the box. That's what Leo energy means to me
Yeah.
whenever I see that energy. Like
Well, if
fantastic.
you
I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, if you think about Lionsgate, the sun is in Leo, the star Sirius is
Mm-hmm.
rising in the sky. It's aligning perfectly with the pyramids of Giza in
Yep.
Egypt. This
Mm-hmm.
alignment is what is thought to open this gateway between the physical and spiritual realms.
Yeah.
So you're getting this high frequency energy that will facilitate a spiritual awakening or a spiritual transformation. You
Mm-hmm.
will have heightened intuition. We were just talking about you having all the
Yep.
things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people who follow astrology or just metaphysics in general know that this is an ideal time for setting your intentions, manifesting your desires, engaging in spiritual practices that is
Mm-hmm.
going to help you get to the goal in which you want to achieve. But you're 1,000% correct when you say, it's a time to like look within because you got to release those old patterns before you make room for new, like you said. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a perfect time to tap into your inner wisdom to access those deeper levels of understanding to have that insight to go, you know what? I've been doing this for X amount of years. It's not working. Time to change it. You know,
Right.
that's not really serving me any longer. But we
Mm-hmm.
have a shit ton of planets that are in retrograde
Yeah.
that are kind of assisting this process.
Mm-hmm.
Retrograde in general is already, I think, a challenging topic for a lot of people to quite understand because they're like, what do you mean retrograde is going backwards? It think of the planet pausing. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Right.
Like the energy of that planet is put on pause and it's saying, wait a minute, before we send you more of this, it's time for you to do some reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's your past actions, your identity, your desires, even. Um, that's what retrograde is really. It's presenting you like opportunities to confront any shadows, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Mm-hmm.
lingering things that may be going on. So we have Pluto in retrograde, and Pluto is all about transformation, rebirth, hidden power,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah.
Power.
Mm-hmm.
And that one in particular, when Pluto is in retrograde, I'm like, ooh, Lord, because that's when hidden truths are revealed. And we're seeing that in social media quite a bit. You know,
Oh yeah.
we're seeing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, then we have Saturn, and that's all about life challenges. It's growth through responsibility, and perseverance in spite of these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is a whole nother like, holy crap, right? And I think we're seeing that in social media too.
Yeah.
Especially you're hearing through social media that people aren't getting paid, or they're being shadow banned, and you're hearing all of that, and they're either going to drop out or they're going to keep pushing forward, and that's where that perseverance comes into play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, then we have Neptune, um, who is all about our intuition, our dreams, our spirituality. It's all about the unseen kind of realm, and any boundaries that you have in regards to that. That's the important part everybody forgets. Any boundaries that you have on that. Um, and then we have Chiron, who is the wounded healer in retrograde. That's where our deepest wounds are. Our deepest wounds, right? And it's
Yes.
about transforming your pain into wisdom. So,
Mm-hmm.
and Mercury hits August 5th, right? I personally always am affected from the shadow, not during Mercury. It's the shadow. Only the shadow affects me. And that shadow is what they call when it's beginning its pause. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually, we're recording this today on August 5th. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm like that too. I am the pre is killer for me. And then today, which actually now you said August 5th, I'm like, wait a minute, that date sounds familiar. I just looked it up. Looked at my phone. And yeah, today I woke up like, wow, I feel great.
Yeah. I know.
Duh. Because
Yeah.
Mercury finally started its full
Yeah.
thing. But the
It's
pre,
so
holy crap.
it's so weird how it affects me on just the shadow, but during Mercury, everything's kosher, everything's great. I have no issues.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Lionsgate, in and of itself, again, we're looking at, the Leo's kind of energy that comes along with it.
Hmm.
So if you put that into like how you're going to respond in this time, are you wanting recognition? Because I guarantee that energy is coming up. That is coming up. Like, why am I, whether, you're working in an office and you're like, well, I'm the one that did all that work. Why isn't anybody putting my name on that?
Hmm.
Or whether it's at home and you're a homemaker and you're like, dad stirred the potatoes. I made the whole meal and they're thanking him for the meal,
Right, right.
There could be a lot of that. Pay attention to what I have done. I want to have some recognition. Pay attention
Hmm.
to when that sneaks up on you, because I promise it's going to.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is this time, especially when we have Lionsgate and then we have all of these planets uh, in retrograde or coming up in to be in retrograde, and they all feed into that Lionsgate energy. Yeah, expect to be expect to be ultra sensitive to topics in your life and situations, um, fun time. It's a fun time. But I look at that too as taking that Leo energy, like proactive thinker, of taking that Leo energy and applying it to those parts of yourself that are now becoming, that you are now, that's surfacing for you, that you're becoming aware of, and making those empowered choices with that Leo energy when you are wanting that recognition, or I mean like boundaries. I like when you said, to the big, that thing that everyone forgets is boundaries, because I feel like that's also folding in for a lot of people, at least that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
This hot topic of boundaries and where you stand in your relationships, in your career, in your work, in your home life, and all of these things. I know I've seen that this past week is like, I don't know how many conversations of boundaries I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually this morning I've already had one. At two. I'm lying. Two different
Mm-hmm.
clients. I've already had that. And I think a lot of people are going to be very, very challenged. So I'm going to tell everybody a trick that I
Mm-hmm.
do. Um, and I don't know if it's going to work for everybody. I'm saying this is what I do. This is what works for me. And I have to constantly during this time say, what would the best version of me respond? How would they respond?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, I'm not gonna lie, not gonna lie, so challenging to catch yourself doing this. But I've been doing it for a very long time, so it's easier. Not that I don't always do it. There's times that I don't.
Sure.
But if you can catch yourself 1 out of 10 times, that's one time and keep working toward it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But what would the best version? Somebody cut you off, what would the best version of me? How would they respond? You know, if somebody takes that parking space that you've been sitting there 10 minutes for, what would the best version of you respond? You know,
Mm-hmm.
just breathe, take a breath, because all of your sore spots essentially are going to be poked.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them, whether it's relationship, whether it's financial, whether it's career, whether it's spiritual, you're going to be poked in your sore spots because the universe is saying, have you healed that yet? Have you looked at
Right.
it? Isn't that
Right.
time to let that go? Because
Yeah.
you're more than your limitations. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like that. I tend to, my reaction of how I deal with this is I tend to fall into acknowledgement and then the why. So if I find myself getting triggered, I like, okay, I see that. I see that. And
Yeah.
then I start to go, at the end of the day, is that really necessary? My response, like in my initial flare, right? Because I've got
Yeah.
a lot of fire. I got a
Yeah.
lot of fire energy and hard headedness. But, I look at that and then I start to go into that because I'm all, me, I'm all self reflective of everything. And I start to go down that trail of, okay, why did I respond? Because obviously it's more than that initial thing, right? Getting cut off, or somebody taking your parking spot, or however you were easily triggered. It's
Sure.
obviously deeper than just that little thing that poked you. So, you know, my mindset is always in the, oh yeah, we're gonna transmute that shit. Gonna, we're gonna transmute that shit.
Yeah.
But so I go, okay, I see that. I got it.
Yeah.
And then, okay, why? Because that really wasn't necessary. Just like how you are the best version of you.
Hmm.
I mean, does it make a big difference at the end of the day?
Hmm.
No. Okay, then why was I so easily provoked? Because obviously there's a
Yep.
reason behind it, and I need to dig that out because that's not cool.
Yep.
So I kind of do something similar to you. I like to follow the breadcrumbs backwards of, okay, why is that there? And man, this energy, and I feel like, and I know I've said this before on other episodes that we've had and we've talked about this is a very significant year for ascending into your chosen timelines.
Yeah.
This is a very this is a very significant year.
Yeah.
I'm like, let
Yeah.
me beat this into your all you
It
guys'
is.
head. Very significant in stepping into, like Charlie uses, the best version of yourself, your
Mhm.
highest and best timeline. Um, I think coupled with a lot of people now starting to realize or accept that you didn't come here to play small. You didn't come here to sit in these limiting beliefs. And
Yeah.
you see, I know I've seen, I'm sure you have, so many people now starting to question the why I
Yeah.
should have to accept
It's
this,
everywhere.
yeah, the why I have to accept this, that goes within yourself too. Why are you still accepting the storyline, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I think you nailed it with that. And it's pretty widespread. Everybody is now, I think that, well, when I say everybody, that's a very broad term, but most people are now not willing to accept what they've been handed, and
Mm-hmm.
they're being a little more analytical in their responses. And I think that also goes in turn with that energy of why am I settling? Why am I
Yeah.
limiting myself? By doing this, I'm limiting myself. And that, I mean, in so many areas in
Mm-hmm.
the workforce, people are saying, I am not working 40 hours a week for peanuts.
Right,
Well, if
right.
I'm already not paying my bills, then why don't I do that 4 days a week instead of five?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
I can't pay him now. What's another day gonna do? You know, a lot of people are doing that, or they're just
Mm-hmm.
outright quitting their jobs and they're following their own dreams and aspirations of things that they have always wanted to do, taking complete left turns in their career field
Mm-hmm.
because they're tired of settling,
Right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
relationships, I'm telling you, retrograde,
Oh gosh.
if you're watching this, hear me loud and clear. Every single person in the last week and moving forward during this retrograde and the shadow period, if you have a significant other or an ex friend that contacts you, calls you, comes around, that is the universe literally saying, did you learn from that or do you want some more? That's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're an X for a reason. It's like poison on a bottle with an X, saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey, let it go. You learned from that. Don't revisit that. Um,
Right.
I laugh. I laugh when I have people contact me and they're like, oh my God, my ex, do you think it'll work out? Absolutely not. I have seen people get married when this happens. They'll reunite during retrograde. 3 weeks later, they're getting married. 6 months, you're divorced. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. It is so
Yeah.
volatile. No, don't. You should not be signing any major contracts unless you absolutely have to. Okay. And if you are, make sure you're double checking every single thing, cross every T, dot the I's, make sure it's all working in your favor, because this is the time that people regret major purpose or purchases the most. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
buying cars, if you're buying houses, if you're making those major changes, now is the time that there's a lot of regrets that are made during that.
Yeah.
Travel, communication, those are stunted. Communication is stunted.
I like to say if you do have to sign anything or do anything of importance, to triple read things to make sure. And I like to verbalize um, what you're perceiving in the contract with whoever you're signing it with, because I just think that's an extra layer of protection, because you already know going in you have to do this during a retrograde, so you have to make sure you're super super clear, and so we're understanding each other, um, taking that extra layer, why double down when you can triple down, and just
Yeah.
verbalize a thing so I know I'm reading what I'm picking up what you're putting down, kind of thing, when you have to. And yeah, it is. I even just had this conversation too when it comes with to like the choices also and the why we're accepting things. This client was talking about millennial, I think she said she'd read a report. Millennials are not buying houses, are not having kids, are not doing all of the things that previous generations just would automatically do because it was expected of them. And I had said, yeah, because you see a lot of them now. I think millennials, the newer millennials. I don't know how to say it. I'm a millennial too, technically, but I'm an older one because
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the one right before that phase.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the younger versions of millennials and then the generation after them, was it Gen Z,
Mm-hmm.
are really starting to question more of why should I work so hard for this not to get appreciated or
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's worth my time and worth my energy.
Yeah.
And with the house thing, it was like, why would I purchase a house when one, the income is not there, and two, it's not gonna produce anything for me. Even her point was, I'd rather just rent, because then if something goes wrong or whatever, I can just call,
Yep.
hey, come fix this.
Yep.
She's like,
And you get
the
tired of the
responsibility.
scenery, you pull up your stakes and you get
Yeah.
someplace
And you could
else.
just go.
Yep.
So, we could just move. We're not tied down. And
Yep.
I said, yeah, it's definitely a change of tide versus the older way, but this
Yep.
is what this year is about as well. This is why we keep preaching that this year is super important for your choices, and spirit has to bring you, like, you are the consumer, so you have to buy into the story that, you choose the story, you have to buy into it. So you have to have all of the information to make your choice. So everything's going to come up for you. I think of it kind of that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if that helps anybody when we're dealing with all this fantastic retrograde energy, you're just being made aware of all the consumer information so you can make your choice,
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're constantly reevaluating. And that's a great um highlight for this energy is reevaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's your finances, your home, your career, your interpersonal relationships, your romantic ones. Um, it's just reevaluating. Is this really serving not where you're at, where you want to go? I
Mm-hmm.
cannot like stress this enough. Well, yesterday is just it's a memory. Tomorrow is where you're headed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're always in the here and now. But if you're living today like you want tomorrow to be, it's bound to occur. But so many people are living yesterday instead
Mm-hmm.
of what they want tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like literally
That
do it. Do it.
Yeah, it reminds me. So I just came back from traveling, and I was sitting in the airport, and the couple sitting next to me was older couple, but not too old. But they were sitting there, and the plane that we were supposed to get on had a maintenance hold, so delayed. And the guy next to me immediately was, oh, I can't believe this, like, nah, 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 and whatever, getting all upset. Um, and then goes, they must have saw whatever their last name was on the roster and said, "Oh, we're gonna fuck up this trip or whatever." Like they just started on their vacation, and he's
Mhm.
like, "It happens every single time." And in my head, I'm like, "Did you not hear them say?" Because then what happened was we ended up having to switch gates because that plane wasn't airworthy. So they say that this plane is not airworthy. We have to change planes and switch gates. Oh, this guy's all pissy, right? And I'm thinking one in my head, sir, did you not hear him say not airworthy?
Yeah.
Means it cannot fly.
Yeah.
So, and you're mad over an hour taken out of your time for this whole fiasco to go down. And then when he started bitching about, this always happens. And then, my second thought was, of course it always happens because you're always saying that and you're projecting that every time you travel, something always is going to go wrong. Well, yeah, you're guaranteeing, is that a word?
Yeah.
That that's going to,
Yeah.
like, that's going to happen. Same thing with like what, Charlie's just talking about. When you're always assuming the worst,
Hmm.
what do you think's going to happen?
Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
Yep. And I'm going to tell you something, the more that you travel the road of spirituality, the more that you will be able to manifest in your world.
Mm-hmm.
So be very conscious of your thoughts that you're projecting, because we're all like little antennas, right? Our chakras are what determines how high our antenna. So
Mm-hmm.
what are you broadcasting out to the universe? Because the universe is going to give it to you. It doesn't see good, bad, and different. It says, oh, they want more of that. So
Right,
if
right.
you're broadcasting, woe is me, this always occurs. Congratulations. How creative of you that you consistently create that for yourself. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
try something new. Try
Yeah,
something new,
exactly.
you know?
Try something else on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try something new. But I do think that a lot of people are definitely going to be very, very, very challenged this go around, just because we have
Mm-hmm.
so many competing energies that the universe is saying, clear your shit up. And that's where they're talking about this timeline. Everybody's talking about this timeline
Yep.
shift, because it should happen congruently with us according to what everybody is projecting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if you follow that same thread of, okay, what I'm manifesting, what I desire, how am I living, um, if you're in alignment with your higher self, you're always on the right path. And
Yep.
that's why I use that little trick of, what would the best version of me, how would she respond to this? So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that will, help you all out when you're in a pinch. Um, because if you're in alignment with that, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely can't go wrong. Um, I'm super honored to have the opportunity to kind of share this information with everybody out there. And I talked to Krys before we came on, and I don't know what to call this because I'm very careful on word choice because people kind of
Mm-hmm.
grasp onto that and they go, ooh, magic. So
Right, right.
I don't care what you call it. Personally, I call it a ritual. I know it's a weird word for a lot of people. You call it what you want, but it's a little ritual that I do every time there's the Lion's Gate. It is not offensive to any religion, any spiritual belief structure. You can do this no matter what faith that you may hold, what God that you may pray to, or gods, pantheons. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
really a great one. So it's pretty simple. You're going to get 8 bay leaves. 8. Yes, it must be 8. And you're going to write on each bay leaf 4 things that you want to let go on 4 of those bay leaves that you want to let go. And then you're going to write 4 things that you want to bring in. 4 things that you want to come into that future. So why 4 and 4? 4 numerologically. Ooh, I said it. If I said it slow, my mouth didn't mess it up. So 4 is all about safety, security, stability, good foundation. So think about that. We're letting these go so we can bring that in. We're saying these 4 things that we want to bring into our future for that safety, stability, security. And together that brings us to the number 8, abundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we all want, whether that is financially, whether that is spiritually, whether that is career or relationships. And I'm going to say this for all the people in the back of the room, dream big and write it down. Quit thinking small. Stop limiting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. So you're going to write it all down. Then you're going to go outside because I don't want you to burn your house down. Okay. But you're going to go outside and you're going to take the 4 things you want to let go, only the 4 things you want to let go, and put it in a fire safe, anything, and you're going to burn them. You're going to let them burn completely. Okay. Make sure there's nothing left. It should just be ashes. And whatever you burn that in, you're going to bring that back in the house, the ashes. You want to keep those ashes. Don't get rid of them. Then you're going to take those 4 leaves that have everything you want. You're going to put it directly on top of those ashes. Okay. And then you're going to set it somewhere where nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's going to mess with it. Nobody's going to do anything with it. Okay. You're going to keep it there for 7 days, including that day. So you're going to count the day that you've done it. And on that 7th day, you're going to take it and you're going to throw it out to the earth. And you're not even going to think about it. The 4 things you want to bring in and the ashes, you're just going to throw it to the earth and let the earth decide what it's going to do. Animals may take it. It may sit there. It does not matter. You're not going to check on it. You're not going to care about it. You can take it to a park. You can take it anywhere. It's not littering. They're herbs. It's fine. I promise.
Yeah. It's gonna go to where
Yes.
it came.
Yes,
Right
absolutely.
back in.
But I strongly recommend that you do that. And every single day when you go by those herbs, I have an altar, so I keep mine on my altar. I'm constantly using my altar. It's always in my face. So I'm always reminded of what I'm bringing in and what I'm letting go.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not have that and you just want to put it on your dresser, that's okay too. You don't have to have an altar to do this, but put it where you're going to look at it and remind yourself of that. This is what I'm letting go, and this is what I'm bringing in. Keep reaffirming that within your mind. Our intention is everything. 90%
Mm-hmm.
of our rituals are doing that. It's saying reaffirm your intentions, remind yourself of
Mm-hmm.
the intentions on where you want this energy directed. And we want our energy directed for our future of what we want to bring in. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
my little thing. Do you have anything to add, Krys?
Nice. No, I like that. I do have something similar with the bay leaves of doing that, and I think you taught me it actually. It's a different one, a little different, but I like that the 4 and 4. And so here's a couple of questions because my mind goes, these are general questions I know when I talk about practices to do,
Mhm.
uh, the feedback of that people would ask. So, what if you're burning your bay leaf and it doesn't burn all the way? The leaf doesn't burn all the way. Do you relight it?
Absolutely. You want it burned
Okay.
completely. If it goes out, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Listen, I know there's tons of lore and myths and stuff out there that says, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's not working because it went out. Who gives a shit? You
Yeah.
know what? My will is more powerful, and that shit's gonna burn today. I'm getting rid
Right.
of that
Right.
today, right?
Okay.
So you take your lighter and you can reburn it. Now, obviously, I'm a stone chick.
Mm-hmm.
I may have an obsession. I may. So for me, I like to put stones in there too because I want to add as much
Mm-hmm.
energy as I can to manifesting that. So you can add stones too, Krys.
Yeah.
You can either go with your gut or you can actually use manifestation stones. I don't think that there is a wrong way in which you can manifest.
Right. Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that I do add my little quirk to that, and I do use stones a lot. So, and I'll just go to, and for anybody watching or listening to this that are questioning, because I know I have a very verbatim mind, and I know there's others out there like me with a very verbatim mind. So that's why I'm asking these, because this is your ritual you're sharing. And I know, so I'll just go in front of my collection
Uh-huh.
and just see what I'm drawn to, and
Yeah.
just trust that whatever you're drawn to is
Hmm.
going to benefit you, because you're already emitting that intention out when you're doing this.
Yeah.
Um, I have, uh, what was it? Oh no, I can't think of it now, because we talked about the stone thing. That's what I was going to say too. Yes. So I know some people, oh, yeah, there you go. Thank you. So I know some people will ask as well, is there a particular day or time to do this
I
practice?
okay, so and I've heard this a lot from a lot of people. Oh, it must be done at this time. It must be. See, I am
Mm-hmm.
so that person that will challenge the shit out of that
Right.
because I don't think there's a wrong time to manifest anything. However, with that said, we are doing this because we're using the momentum of the Lionsgate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're utilizing that energy to push our manifestation forward. Some people can quickly manifest, and some people it can take a long time to manifest. So we're utilizing that energy to say, this is happening now. I want
Mm-hmm.
this right now. You want instant gratification? This is the
Right.
ritual for you. So do it on the 8th if you want to use the momentum of that energy. But make no mistake, you can do this any day, any week,
Mm-hmm.
any hour, and it's still going to be beneficial for you. It will just take longer to manifest. That's the
Yeah.
truth. So, yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I know, especially if, our listeners, there's the group in our listeners who are starting out
Hmm.
and really haven't been doing, because I know myself when I was starting out, I really was very verbatim of,
Yeah. I
how do
was
I just,
too.
okay, what's
Yeah.
1 through 3 now?
Yeah.
And you will evolve into the understanding that we are constantly manifesting
Yeah.
every minute of the day. We're constantly, so truly your intention should be the utmost, and kind of the end all be all. That's the way I think about it too, like how you, my intention and my will
Hmm.
is the driving force. But in the beginning, there's a lot of people like myself and like how you were, where we didn't understand that just yet, or pull that into our belief system fully.
Right.
So we're stuck on the little logistic, the fine print
Yeah.
of things. So I know there's going to be people asking that. So
So I
yeah.
thought I might explain something because I'm sure the way that you're asking these questions, maybe there's
Mm-hmm.
people out there that may
uh,
have these
I'm
questions.
acting like I've never heard this before,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
know.
okay,
But I'm
I'm
enjoying
a
that you're
newbie.
doing that
How do I
because,
do that?
yeah. So
Yeah.
the reason why we're burning those 4 things, in case you're wondering why, is because we're letting that go. Okay, that's why we're
Mm-hmm.
doing that. We're using the energy of fire, right? Because fire is all about passion and drive, right? So we're letting that go using the element of fire. Why are we taking the 4 bay leaves and putting them on the earth? Because those are the things we want to manifest and our physical reality. That's why it has to go on the earth. I just thought I'd add that in there in case
Mm-hmm.
people are like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. So I'm trying to explain that little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that.
yeah, that's the whole
Yeah.
reason behind it. But like I said, you can add any stones that you would like to
Mm-hmm.
with it, whatever you're drawn to, like you said, just say,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Um, if you have just this little tiny clear quartz crystal, that's cool. Throw it in there. Better yet, if you have diamonds, like your diamond earrings, and you're like, I have no stones, go into your jewelry box, grab those diamond earrings because it's a stone and it will
Mm-hmm.
actually amplify energy. Throw those suckers in there with it. Yeah, they're going to get some ashes. It's okay. Soap and water's cool. And it
Yeah.
will help. It will help. Please don't feel like you have to go on Amazon and buy a storefront in order to do something. God
Right.
never
Right.
intended it to be that way. Man did. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. I like to think of it too, of the bay leaves when you're burning the four and then you're putting the four on top. It's like you telling the universe, yeah, we're going to get rid of this. I'm done with this. Replace it with this. So
Absolutely.
if that helps anyone with your like your understanding and comprehension of the practice, really just, and if there's any fear or misunderstanding of ritual
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
practice that you're doing, you're simply just telling the universe, yeah, we don't want this anymore. Let's get rid of this and replace it with this.
Yeah.
So if that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't use a porcelain bowl. Don't use anything that's going to break because you don't want that to
Mm-hmm.
happen. You know what I mean? Even if you grab like a pyrite or Pyrex, I think it's called Pyrex pie dish or something like that,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
just something that you know isn't going to be muddled with, isn't going to break for 7 days. You're going to be good. You're going to be golden. You cannot,
Yeah.
there is no way that you can mess this up. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's completely unoffensive to every single walk. And I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I like it. I kind of I add to manifestation rituals that I do with, because we've talked about this before, I'm really getting into like feng shui and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
abundance and things like that. And uh I have the 8 bills because I'm all about eight.
Mhm.
And I add that underneath the bowl of whatever I'm doing, whatever manifestation ritual or practice that I'm doing, I throw that in there too. Again, I think of that too as stones or crystals. So if you are uh, familiar with feng shui or energy or the abundance bills, because that's a lot of people have those manifestation
Yeah.
abundance bills,
Yeah.
you can add those underneath too that go with your intuition. Trust yourself.
Yep. Trust it. And don't think small, you know?
Oh,
You're
yes,
like,
yes.
I want a new job, I want to get rid of this job. And then the next bay leaf is going to be, I would like to make $2 an hour. Why not make it 20? Why
Mm-hmm.
not make it 20 more dollars? Quit limiting yourself.
Yeah.
Quit limiting. So think really big.
Mm-hmm.
Quit limiting. There's so
Yeah.
many
I mean, I think,
people that I can see, I can energetically see the potential of where their soul can go. And I can see the limitations of where they
mm-hmm.
have placed themselves. And it's why are you limiting? Why are you doing that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're writing it down and you feel yourself like hesitate, do it anyways. Because why not? Let the universe amaze you and surprise you.
Yeah. Yeah. And bay leaves, by
What
the
have
way,
you got
guys,
to lose?
uh,
Like,
if you're
you
not a
know?
cooker and you don't know what bay leaves are, I'm telling you, you can go into Kroger. I
Oh,
personally get
yeah.
mine at Sam's Club because it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
cheaper there. But you can get bay leaves just about anywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be at this specific store in this organic that in this stop.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a thing.
Yeah. No,
So
simple grocery store and you can grab them. Even
yeah,
if you go into, I like to go, I don't know about your neck of the woods, but out here, I like to go to the grocery store in the international aisle. So
yeah,
typically in the Asian and Hispanic aisles, they sell the big bags
yeah,
of bay leaf and it's stupid cheap, like a
yeah.
dollar something or
Yeah,
two
just make
dollars,
sure they're dry. I should have said that,
Oh
dry.
yeah,
Yeah, I should
dry.
have said that. I I just thought of my bay leaf plant pot
hmm
that I have, and I'm like, yeah, I should definitely say dry. Yeah, just
Yeah,
in case you're new.
yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, and I know
Um,
we've been kind of sporadic with posting our videos, and that is because life has been very busy for Krys and I. It has been extremely busy. We are adamant on posting as frequently as we possibly can. Thank you for continuing to follow us. Thank you for being patient. And understanding that we too are having the human experience.
yes. Oh gosh, especially during this time. And I also want to add just really quick into kind of circling back to the retrograde energy and the Lions Gates too. If you're a person, well, okay, I'll say this. Spirit is going to commune with you in all the avenues to which you have opened up those doors and you can receive.
Uh-huh.
So, and I say this because I've heard this a couple of times from people. If you are a vivid dreamer, log your dreams. That is one way that spirit is going to commune with you
Yeah.
about, your life in the subconscious and the astral. So I hear this far too often where people who do remember their dreams or vivid dreamers have these wild and crazy dreams or, weird dreams, but they don't do anything about it. They're just like, yeah, I dream weird. Well, if you've opened yourself up to walking your path of your own alignment, and that's naturally going to start the progression of, as we've talked about before, shadow work, of ascension, of all of these things. And the dream state is an easy avenue for you. Spirit's going to utilize that. So, for whoever needs to hear this, and you're finding yourself having that in retrograde energy, because I know you and I both have very vivid dreams during,
Oh yeah.
especially more so during this time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great insight and messages and things that come through in the dream state. So log those dreams, and it may not make sense at the time that you're like recalling it, but when you log it, you can step away, come back, and then look at it. Or things play out through the week, and other things come to your awareness, and then you can be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Ah. You
Yeah.
start looking things up, So just a little tidbit in there. If you are one of those people, that's an avenue that doesn't get a lot of credit, that spirit will commune with you through the dream state. So
Yeah.
log it down,
Yeah.
write it down. Yeah. So anything else to add with this episode?
I don't think so, but it is
No.
111. Isn't that all?
Oh, see,
That's awesome.
look at that.
Yeah.
So well, we thank you guys for joining us, and we appreciate your presence, and we appreciate your energetic exchange of liking, commenting, and sharing these episodes. Our goal is to always share as much information as we can to help anyone along their path, no matter where you are on your path. So we appreciate you here, and until next time.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.